Please excuse the kids. Dang, I can't find my little, whatever you call it, the thing that you use. I can't find it to hold my stuff up. So please excuse that, and please excuse the kids. Today is the video where I tell y'all what I did. Okay, so we're gonna start. These are emails. These are emails that are sent to the African witch bitch. You know, she thinks I don't know, but she actually used spell work against me. I don't know who put her on to it, but I used her videos to undo it. Check that out. That ain't funny. Ain't that funny? So we'll start with this. This is on October 1st, and I said, hello. I just wanted to share my work with you, especially because you were the teacher. I appreciate you following your calling, because without you, I would not have listened. You said what I needed to hear in order to take this path, as it has actually been brought to me a few times, but they didn't come from a place of kind intention, if you know what I mean. So the pictures are of a reversal spell, sour jars, sweetening jars, and the one with red and pink is for myself. A self-love spell that I coupled with a Mother Reiki candle, and a pork tongue for them swine. All of the other candles around are for protection. It took me all day, but I feel much lighter and confident. Are you all right, Grace? All right. Hey! So, those are the spells that I did. And these spells on this particular day, I did the spell work from from October 1st to the full moon on Halloween. I did not do any spell work after that. Every once in a while, I'd mess with my sweetening jars. My sweetening jars were on my children, myself, and I can't say who, but it wasn't a love spell. We'll say that, okay? It wasn't like to get anybody to fall in love with me. But I needed someone to be on my side. So, those are the spells I did. My sweetening jars, they're still full. They have not been released yet. And they are not with me, because as you can see, I live in a shelter. You can't do none of that in here. And I've been in a shelter since April, in and out of shelters and hotels. You can't do spell work in there. And it doesn't matter, because my agreement was made with my ancestors. I don't have to do spell work every day. First of all, the first thing, I'll give you all a little secret. Oh, no, I won't give you that secret. I won't give you that secret, but I don't have to do spell work. My magic goes on even after I stop the spell work. So, I then write to her again. She made a video, and she wanted to know if everybody had did their homework, their self-healing, and their shadow work, because their spell won't work if they don't. So, this is very long. And actually, it says, This is Friday, January 1st, okay? So I said, greetings and grand rising. This will be very long, but it's necessary not to leave any details out. Let me start by saying I haven't had a relationship with the typical ancestors for very long. I also have not had much socialization between other practitioners. I am a loner. As I'm learning, I had to stay in hermit mode. I'm estranged from my entire family as a result of my initial discoveries going on 2 years. I had to leave my children with their fathers to figure it all out, and that was the most painful experience. I've lived in my car, totally alone, for 9 months. These narcissists and psychopaths I call their fathers are karmic energies and are rooted from the very thing I am speaking on. Each of them is described to a T in the book by Kenneth Adams, and their way of obtaining these children was via gaslighting me to insanity and to the abuse of my own children. I felt that they would be safer with their fathers, and CPS told me that just because the men abused me doesn't mean they would abuse the children. So I made the intervention on my own, only to discover each one is being harmed to far more damaging degrees while in their care. I was able to get one back. The other two have been proven harder. Well, I sure do hope y'all could hear me over all that. The ancestors I built a relationship with are animals and nature, and for the duration of my life. I'm the kind of person to visit every park, talk to trees and other plant forms, to notice who is blooming and who is sick, to observe the waters and their changes, admire animals and insects, and learn all of their names and what they represent in the totem. I step outside, I'm literally like a Disney princess. Animals of all kinds just show up. During my time in my car would be covered with stink bugs. Odd sight, honestly, but they mean intuition. I also have a relationship with acts of nature. I make the entire East Coast rain when extremely upset. I've risen flowers from the dead. The sun comes out to greet me when I ask. And my hobbies include making healing tonics and oils. My son and a few friends come to me when they need strange dreams interpreted. There are many who can attest to it, and they've seen me in action. I'm adopted, and my adopted family was abusive. The grandmother I spoke of, she was from that side. It was welcoming her back in my home that triggered the dreams, and I actually reached out to her because I was having a lot of weird dreams, okay? One of them was about a tree that was 500 years old, it looked like. So, anyway, everything else had been happening for some time. My dreams were new. Thanks to mugwort, and the fact that I have full forgiveness for all, I've been honoring my birth mother and hers since I learned their names 2 years ago, almost to the day. No, I have not given any offerings to any Orishas. Their offering from me is my life. They are not offended by that lack completely, but I guess I could do more work there. Based on what I described of myself, I channel abilities of Oshun, Orunmila, and Osenin. It's all by accident and can be explained by my birth chart. The birth chart is like a celestial career test. Remember taking those in school? I looked to my chart and found my purpose. If you have ever seen the movie Harry Potter, he was a magic natural. He went to the zoo, let the snake out, and didn't know that he could. Went to school with those who were practicing for years only to outperform them in every way by no intention of his own, even channeling the power of his deceased parents and closest friends. He was the one to unveil the evil in the end, with everyone at his side joining forces. I'm a raw, occult being. It's in my chart. I have a mission, and the ability is granted whether I ask for it or not to carry out the task. I told you about my children, how one brought me crystals, the exact ones I needed, how another brought me money, and she too had a love for nature, and from a young age shown interest in root work. We're naturally born practitioners, and our very own souls are our guides. My youngest bloodline is of Aaron, the high priest of Israel. His chart looks just like mine on the opposite side. My eldest, his ancestry is that of the high priestess of the French Quarter, Mary Onita Toups. In regards to her, I was told that witchcraft is like religion in the sense that they are all derived from the same place with different branches. A good metaphor would be Lutheran versus Pentecostal, and for having my Yoruban roots and European both in his blood, that child is especially special. To the Yod in his chart, right down to the life path number of 11. And you, High Priestess, have the same blood as my daughter, Ashe. I was in and out of therapy for almost 2 decades, but only equals a decade. The DSM-5 is a gaslight. The Bible and any other indoctrinated religion that is forced upon the people are gaslights. You can choose to speak only to the African American culture as your purpose. However, the indoctrinations are international, and my message is for everyone. You said that the ancestors had to practice both the Bible and hoodoo. Imagine that after a long while, and after we were caught, as some started to become brainwashed, the strength to continue living the double life died out, and they were succumbed by the gaslight. A spell in itself to protect the lineage. Stealing intuition by way of black magic. The gaslight affects all aspects of the human being, not limited to snacking, struggles with weight, and even the other side with disorders like anorexia and bulimia, as to protect from bodily violations caused by pedophilia and other sexual and physical transgressions that are rampant when the spell is in full effect. These habits can go on for life. I started studying these eating disorders at the age of 14. Without proper nutrition and the constant attack of the mind, it affects the mind by creating constant negative thought processes that eventually override the intuition, a function of the spirit. This is one example of how it can be carried out to destroy an individual, but there are many pathways. Some, it'll be drugs or sex, etc., etc. The entire DSM-5 is a book of results of the covert emotional incest over time. They simply would not exist if covert emotional incest didn't exist, as it is the root of all abuses. Every single diagnosis is a result in a spectrum of the severity of the abuse. By treating the results, it labels the victims insane and discredit them, and it allows the abuse perpetrators to continue their work unscathed. The reason behind this is big pharma and the generation of money and greed. By medicating every victim, it's a cash cow. Pharma, Greek connotation, is witchcraft. I know a lot of you know that. A lot of us are very woke. Anyway, you said King James was a world domination Hitler type, eh? Who is King James' ancestors? Well, every president who ran the United States, including our precious Obama, they have to take a blood test before they can even run for it. Their faces don the money. Queen Elizabeth as well. Does she not possess the most land, gold in the world? For what purpose, as she could easily house every person and there would be no suffering? Who are their associates and what do they possess of this earth? I'd say he was successful in world domination. When you cut down a tree, you are killing an ancestor. Almost every culture in this world is working to get dead ancestors in the form of money, with dead presidents and other Europeans' faces stamped on it. They made their literal ancestor money with our ancestors. And I think it was Torian Tarot, something like that. Torian T. Tarot, possibly. Excuse me. She said that money was made out of cotton. And now knowing what I know about slavery, one, is still an ancestor. All plant forms are ancestors. Two, my ancestors already worked for cotton. They're the ones that picked the cotton, that made the company that makes the dollar. It's still, I don't give a fuck. Okay? What I am saying here is that every time we pass a dollar through our hands, we desecrate our loved ones. Even their own ancestors are desecrated with this practice. As my own child for me proves, we are all connected. This desecration is all for the exaltation of King James, his descendants, and perverse desires. We can't breathe without the trees, our ancestor spirit. Can't breathe without any life. The grass, the trees, any plant is our life. Okay? So even if it's just cotton they're cutting down, I learned that whole cotton thing later, but it still does not matter. We still need all of these things in order to breathe. They breathe for us and we breathe for them. So anyway, they honor human beings only and not Earth herself, as every life form possesses a spirit. Even crystals can sing to you. They're cutting down trees and mining Earth's blood, its riches, and our rainforests, burning to the ground. Air quality in some countries, they literally cannot breathe. Time out. As far as the Bible, I found hoodoo and other practices by reading in between the lines. The crystals, saging, root work, zodiac, numerology, manifestation is in there. The gaslight is where it calls it a sin. In the same breath glorifies the sun and moon, then says kill anyone who worships it. That's where the gaslight is for many religions. Yeshua, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, they all walk the earth. Yeshua specifically spoke of his makeup, which was earth, water, and air. That's what's in his chart. Herod killed every child born under his similar zodiac formation. During the time of my birth was the start of the AIDS and crack pandemic. Crack babies sentenced to death. Nixon and Reagan are in King James bloodline. What top secret intel did they have to start such destruction? Who's coming? And what is the purpose of this extermination using COVID? Who are are they trying to keep from being born? What is NASA really? We can predict star formations for hundreds of years. They knew someone could come and pull off the seal. And I will be 33 this year, the age of ascension. Another gaslight is in the movies and shows. They call it fiction, but it's real. Avatar, for example, depicts exactly what I'm saying about the trees. It's literal mockery. Disney is the greatest perpetrator, with all other cultures depicted in acts of ancestor worship, but the only movie featuring a black character focuses around voodoo and calls it bad. I am a Taurus sun sign, a Pluto. Oh, another movie that you want to watch, Soul number 22. That's my soul number. And what the main character, the male, is experiencing is covert emotional incest by his mother. There you go. Anyway, I'm a Taurus sun sign, a Pluto Scorpio dignified. These two signs are exact opposites on the chart, and Sun and Pluto are in full opposition, with the Sun in the middle and Pluto at the farthest end of the system, meaning my whole self is its own opposite. I complete myself in two types of degrees. Scorpio in Pluto is a proper placement. In this position, it is the strongest and most harmonious placement, and to know myself, I had to travel to the deepest depth of my psyche unafraid. And it's a different dimension altogether, and face my dark night of the soul. Two more proper placements are Moon in Cancer, making me a psychic, Capricorn and Saturn, making me a healer. I'm currently past a Saturn return, and the conjunction with Jupiter was stellar for my energy. They're not in the background of a video because I don't want to expose anybody's children. Oh yeah. Accidental things in my chart are Capricorn and Neptune, where Neptune was first discovered. Also Gemini and Venus, and 12th house make an accidental dignity and solidifies psychic ability. The force is strong with this one. Okay, I don't doubt that you did your work, because you touch on every symptom and every family dysfunction that comes from it. But when you speak, it still lacks a name. The purpose of the human experience is found in the Bible. Adam and Eve were to classify things, give it a label, give it a name. Kenneth Adams gave this spell work. A name. The higher self leaves clues for the self and each other. Clues found in names and symbols and numbers for others to find and confirm when reaching a lesson. My legal name is Ashley, meaning ash tree meadow. The ash tree can symbolize strength, power, mystic power, and it can also relate to spirituality and things that happen in the physical realm at large. The ash tree can symbolize longevity and endurance, as well as productivity. I'd say I've endured and have been productive. On my right hand, this is actually incorrect. This is my left hand. On my left hand, I tattooed a Mercedes symbol and my actual birth name, meaning mercy. And on my left hand, praying hands for judgment. I didn't know what this meant when I did it. I was just having fun, but when I found out, I was a believer in the 5D and spiritual realm. So after all this, you ask, why am I still being tortured by the ancestors and not healed? Because I have been sitting on my final thesis for 6 months. I'm not afraid of myself, but have been afraid to speak to anyone else. An insecurity, so to speak. I brought this to a few tarot YouTubers, high priestesses, and they tried to cast spells on me. I countered though, and it appears they get the message. Everyone sees my wounds, physical or mental, and think there is no possible way I could have any answers. I have no internet presence. I seemingly just fell out of the sky. What could this woman possibly know? While everyone has been on Al Gore's internet, I've actually been living the human experience. The internet is an alternate reality in itself. I don't much fucks with it. What's the actual point of dealing with anyone when the mindset is so set in the 3D like that? Only focusing on human physical existence and internet presence, and not considering my soul's existence. Someone will listen to me, or someone will listen without me having to force my hand eventually. These answers cannot come without this type of destruction to self, but I assure you, my soul is intact. It took the breaking down of every single part of myself to get it, including the love spell that the man I love cast, because covert emotional incest is emotional rape. He will not be punished for what he did. Our ancestors had to agree on it, and I will eventually reap the rewards of enduring his twisted act. If not by his hand, by the ancestors, but this was our purpose in meeting. I said in the comments once, I am a powerful being. This man and what my energy brought him confirms it. He knew my ability before I did. It's been going on for a year, and it triggered the awakening to my very deepest wound. And I find it is the deepest wound for society. You spoke on elders jealous of their descendants? Yeah, this is that. I did my work. The current affliction I am experiencing is because staying silent. I have not completed the second requirement that affords my protection. I have only ever asked you a few questions, and the answers came to me before you or elemental wisdom could get back to me. The insecurity of doing new things causes me to reach out to others, but my greatest teacher is first and foremost myself and my own intuition. Not to cause a slight to you or show arrogance, because you are a phenomenal teacher, and I have had one of the greatest pleasures in learning from you, and I'm still going to speak to elemental wisdom as well. I have a specific question regarding my mother. It's just for more confirmation. I think I know the answer sometimes and just desire a co-signer. Thank you for everything that you do. You have been a wonderful asset to me. I literally had to pull out every spell that you post. I have gotten a crash course in the art, and you are the mother's feet that I sit at for learning. I didn't send a card or a plaque, but please let this information be my gift to you, as knowledge is power. You are truly loved and cherished by me. The books are The Emotional Incest Syndrome by Patricia Love and Silently Seduced by Kenneth Adams. I encourage you to read them or download them and listen to them on Audible for more edification. And please feel free to check out my channel, Hello Seven God. There I speak on my aspects of my chart that made me qualify, and I have begun to speak on the topic of covert emotional incest recently. I hope that you can join forces with me and use this information to assist us in coming out of this bondage. Thank you for reading. So this is a really long video, but I just want to let people know there's a lot of, in tarot, there's a lot of talk of spell work being done. Well, not everyone is actually doing root work and rituals. Some are just enacting covert emotional incest, and covert emotional incest is a spell done by King James. Y'all have a great day.